Hello, everybody. How are you? Hi. I noticed Polly was the first one here, and I think Polly mentioned she didn't always check her email. We were supposed to. I sent her an email Tuesday afternoon to say, Polly, want to sew tomorrow? And then I forgot about it and got busy, and I apologize. Linda Ramos is back again with us. So, Polly, we'll try again, hon, I promise. And I have to remember to, you know what I should do? Don't put it on here, but maybe you can email me your cell phone number if you do texting and let me text you. But I understand not everybody checks their emails as much as I do. And I'm sorry. And then today, I always tell you everything. I don't know why, but I've been clenching my jaw because I kind of realized there was a lot going on, and I finally sat down and talked to Mark last night and said all these things are worrying me, and it was so good just to get it out. I said I shouldn't keep it in because then I clenched my jaw. Well, I clenched my jaw so much that it made my ear kind of hurt and tickle, and I kept messing with my ear, and now I have messed up my outer ear. So, and you know what? I see this camera is doing this funny thing on my face right here. That's odd. But anyway, if you see a funny mark on my face, it's my weird camera. I apologize. But let me just to see if I can clean it off. I noticed the other day when I was showing photos, I said, honey, that's what I call myself. I said, you need to clean off you need to clean off the screen because it was showing all the dust and stuff on the screen. So anyway, we will get together soon, Polly, because I really had fun sewing with you. And last evening I realized, I have messed with this ear enough that now I've irritated and I can't hear good and might have to go see the doctor and say, you know how y'all say don't mess with your ears? It's true. So anyway, see me messing with it again. I got to leave it alone. So hello, everybody. Gonna have to put on the glasses so I can see what you're saying. That's the hardest thing. It was only 6 months of not needing them, but now getting used to it. But let me tell you, I wouldn't trade this new clear lens for anything. Although I'm noticing, besides noticing how I have aged, I'm noticing everybody else on TV too. So, whoa. So maybe cataracts are nature's way of being kind to you, so you can't see just how much you're changing. I love that. Oh, gosh, that is so cute. I don't know if y'all ever do this, but sometimes I'll think of something stupid I said or did years ago, like 40 years ago, and I'll still get mad at myself. And I'm like, Deb, there's a statute of limitations on stuff like this, and you're way beyond that, so let it go. But anyway, all the things we do when we get stressed. It is really good to see Kathleen Champ. Hello, Miss Linda McCollum, you sweetheart. Let me see. Linda, did you send me a new photo or was I seeing in the email, was it a previous photo? Because I, this week, tried to get caught up with some of my emails and got rid of 500 emails. Yay, it was weighing me down. Hetty, hello, darling. I sent you a few patterns today, Hetty, and I'll keep sending you a few more. And Hetty lives in South Africa, and I found that mailing a package to South Africa was going to be so expensive. So I said, can I send you some free patterns I've been saving in my computer? So I've done the first batch, and I'll get some more. I do know we have a cool picture from our Lisa tonight to show you, and I can't wait to see that. And, Kathleen, it's so good to see you. Oh, you figured out your question? Oh, did you you know what? You did. It was about the paper piecing. I got to apologize. I have been burning the candle at both ends. And as always happens, when I do that, it starts to catch up with me. So now I need to calm down and find a Zen place. You know what? I'm going to ask Mark if he would mind bringing my hammock in and setting it up in the sunroom. And then I can just take a couple hours a day and read. I think that's a great idea. My counselor, I loved my counselor, Peggy. She used to say, if you find yourself, if you're running around and things are not feeling right, that's a notice from yourself, your inner self, to say, whoa, what about me? So I'm going to make sure I do that. But gosh, it's so good. There's Patricia from Nova Scotia. Your quilt is going, though? Going through changes. Oh, it is. I can't wait to see. I've got to tell you, I was sitting down here. I kept telling myself, oh, you know what? That is such a great idea. Why save it for 1 week of camping when you could use it, much longer? Jody is here. Oh, Kim Ackerman. Hello, Kim from Arizona. And let me see. Oh, wow. So, aren't you glad to get your artificial hip? Because you know what? You suffer and you go, why? So, anyway, that's wonderful, sweetie. Charlene Lawson is here. And I love seeing Laura here. Boy, it is so good. We've got a big crowd today. This is wonderful. When I get so busy, I think, is there something I can cut? But I thought, I'm not cutting our Art Quilt Thursdays because that's my favorite. Raise your hand if art quilts are your thing or any kind of art. It's okay. We'll wait for you, Kathleen. But so good to see you. And now, if anybody sent me photos this afternoon, let me know and I'll check for them. Otherwise, I'm going to go with what I've got up to now. So, okay. Now, let me see. Whoops, just checking real quickly. Checking real quickly. Okay, I think I'm in good shape, but if you have sent me something, give me a holler. All right. Well, you probably noticed I'm wearing something. And let me pull this forward and show you. And it's not quite finished, but isn't this cute? And I didn't realize how well it went with this necklace. You remember what that was from Sunday? It is one of the roost flowers that I made. I showed you that this was my original I made 5 or 6 years ago that I wear at Christmas time. And I just sewed the gold beads on for bling. Well, this is what I ended up making. I showed you the strips Sunday, and I made this one. And I made that one. And it needs just a little bit more around it. But aren't they cute? So I was just going to tell you, and real quick before we get going on the Woodland quilt, let me show you. I've still been working on these. And here I'm trying to learn how to do a beautiful little scallop border and put a little bead in that. So I've got that one. I love this one. That's awfully cool. And then you remember this one. Oh, I've got my first. Here is my first picture in the Dorset bead. And it's a tree. It's a fall tree with the roots and a few little leaves down there. I need bigger rings if I'm going to do pictures in them. Okay, and here's one that is a real favorite of mine. Then this was done with a thicker cotton yarn. This with DMC floss. And I've got a couple upstairs I'm working on. But this is the first one I ever made. And if you'll notice, my circles, I'm getting closer to the middle now. Look how good this one did. because remember at first when I did them, I had a hard time getting it lined up centered. And then this one's the one I'm going to make for my daughter. So luckily, I've got some new rings coming because guess what, guys? I love making these. And, I also did the woven buttons, and I hope to have another one of those done for this week so I can show you. But I tell you, I sit down at the end of the evening, and that's the little thing I work on. And it gives me such pleasure, and it's mindless. It's just kind of fun. And I find that is what I love. So I'll show you more about these on Sunday, but I just thought I would say I'm wearing one. So any of you who didn't catch the directions for that, then please come back Sunday and I'll go back over it. Okay? All right. Now let's get busy. And also, hello, Nevin from Istanbul. Oh, welcome from Istanbul. Oh, wow. That's wonderful. I'm sorry it's so hot. It's 95 here today, so I have a great deal of sympathy. Although, what is 95 in centigrade? I'm not good at making that transfer. Sunday, I'm on here every Sunday starting at 3:05 p.m. for 2 hours, and that's Eastern time. And so I do our big hour time to quilt on Sunday. So tonight I do the art quilts. Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. New York time. I do 2 hours usually, and that's all kinds of quilting and crafting. So, oh, good, Hattie. Good. Okay, so really, and I wish I could pronounce Nevin's last name. Amazing name. I love it. So, okay, everybody, let's go to, maybe I should hold it up first. Now, let's hope I've glued everything down and it doesn't come flopping back off. But here we go to see what I got done today. As I told you, when I first came down and started work, I thought, I'm not in the mood to do this. I don't want to be doing this. But I said, Deb, push through. Do you see it is actually starting to come together? Can you tell now? And then once I'm getting ready to add a couple pieces on the sides. And, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of times I'll say, this is how I work on the quilt. And, work from top to bottom or front to back. You know what? Today I found, thank you, Miss Linda. 95 equals 95 minus 32, then divide by 2. Really? Oh. Well, thank you. You see the light, Laura. Yay. I was hoping that, and well, let me put a couple pieces on because I've got to kind of darken those sides again for you really to see. So, really, really tickled. And, we haven't even used the cheesecloth the tool yet. But remember I said this challenge was how close can I get it without using something like tulle? Because tulle is kind of the easy way. And I wanted to see, okay, what can I do on my own? Now, I had torn these two pieces before you got here, but I hadn't glued them on yet. But another thing I was going to tell y'all is just remember that there are times you're going to sit down and nothing's going to feel right and you're going to say, why am I doing this stupid thing? Do not worry. That's a normal feeling. You'll go through, it's a process, and you'll go through different sets of feelings along the way. Remember how I told you that the quilt itself will go through an awkward stage and you'll say, oh gosh, why did I even do this? It looks terrible. And it was so cute because today while I was working on it, I was listening to Ricky Timms, and he was talking about every time he teaches, he just started work on a kaleidoscope quilt. And he said it never fails that when he teaches a class, somebody will say, oh, I hate mine. It looks awful. And he'll say, well, look around you. How do the rest of them look? Oh, they look great. I just hate mine. And he said, don't worry. Wait till you get the borders on. You'll like it better when the borders are on. So, it was nice hearing him. If Ricky Timms says, yes, quilts can go through a phase where you're like, I don't like it, and just hang on there and keep working. Because earlier today, I wasn't so impressed with my quilt. Now I'm thrilled with it. So hang in there, people, and just know, okay, it's probably going to look worse before it looks better, and you might end up changing your mind on things 5 times, and that's all completely normal, okay? All right. So let me just try to get this up here. I am just kind of piecing some stuff just to get it out of the way, get it on there. Anyway, so what I wanted to show you is I did another dark edge. And that really brings the quilt around because it gives it, that sets the tone for the interior. The light is not so special unless you have dark, unless you have more of a moody, dark look. Now, let me see. I'm going to take next. So I filled this in on the outside. I like it, like it, like it. Whoops, let me get my tree back down. Come on. Remember what I said? I really loved how easy it was to work with the crafty glue. But since I changed my mind so much, well, actually what I should say is, since I auditioned so many fabrics, your problem is the leaves. Well, the good news, Polly, is cross your fingers that I ordered 2 yards of fabric that I think are going to be perfect with the leaves. And now mine's going to be in greens, but we'll get together next week and we're going to work on the leaves. But I'm hoping, I know that Missouri Star is really running ragged with all their orders, but if they could get that fabric in, I'm going to be so happy. So now what I'm doing, I'm going to put some mottled green in between here. And, I'm kind of wondering if I should have gone a wee bit darker. This is a little light. Let me see. Oh, and wait till you hear my grandson, Donnie, is walking at 11 months. Well, actually, he's not walking. He's running. He went straight to running. So I wrote to my son after I watched the video, and I said, way to go. I said, way to go for Donnie walking. I said, well, he's really running. And he said, oh, yeah, they're in trouble now. So the oldest, you remember, is just 2.5. And in here now, they've got a walking 11-month-old. So they're going to have to be on their toes. And the 2 boys tend to spur each other on to try all new things. You know how that is. Oh, 2 can get into more than double the trouble of 1. They can think of all kinds of good things. So now I'm sticking this in here. I wasn't able to get up all of the edges, so where I can't, I'll try to line it up the best I can and put this in. Just kind of line it up there. And here I'm going to, well, let me see if I can tuck it under here. That's tricky. Let me just trim a little corner off of this. I should have brought down my good nips. I need to go around and find my scissors. I think I've left them in different rooms. All right, I'll put some new glue under here. Lay this down. Whoops. Okay, come back up here. Lay this down. A little touch more glue here. And another nice thing about Elmer's glue, or pardon me, school glue, is that you can sew through it easier than you can some of the more permanent types of glue. So, whoops, this didn't quite work out. Let me see. I've got to scoot this over. Sometimes I've got to be honest. There are only so many hours that you can work on one of these when it'll start to get on your last nerve, if you know what I mean. So, all right, come back out with this. This is the trunk of, oh, come on. Let me pull this. I might have to cut a new piece. If it ends up being glued down and pulled up and glued down and pulled up too many times, sometimes you just have to start fresh. Okay, so let me see. I tried to iron it. Now let me see if I can make it work. All right. It's after dinner time, and so my dogs, this is their happiest time of day. They've got full tummies, and so they play. Sorry about that. They're just playing in the background. In fact, you can see you having a good time. So, and they love being down here. It's so funny. I think I've seen some of you with your cats, and your cats love to be where you're creating. And I honestly believe they can somehow sense there must be pheromones that we give off when we're content and happy. And oh my gosh, could you get any more happy than when you're in your creating zone? So, okay, so now I have fabric in between here and I have fabric here. And then I want to put something to cover this corner for now. Let me see. Okay, I'm just going to, and I'm not, this piece might not stay. Right now, I'm just tired of seeing that white corner, and I want to cover it up. But as usual, I take, and remember, there's no straight lines in nature, and even the horizon is curved. So that's perfect. Just something to put up there right now so it's not getting on my nerves. All right. Here we go. So that's put up there. So now I'm going to hold it up again and see. Whoops. Hold on. When you do so much pulling up, don't be surprised if the fabric wants to stay curled up. And I apologize for that. It's one of the little problems with changing your mind a lot. And you know what? There's so many good things about changing your mind that I'm not going to worry about one bad thing. All right, let me push my camera back and show you again. Thread painting, you're trying to get it right on the machine. Training yet, but I will in it. Yes. With thread painting, the thing I've had to realize, don't go so fast. I wanted to zoom, and I ended up really messing the timing up of my machine, and it's still in the shop. So I thought thread painting, you had to zigzag all over. Most of the thread painters go back and forth, and and I'm going to try to learn to drop my feed dogs and take your time. That's the best thing I can tell you. So here we go. I'll move back now. I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. What do you think? Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. Okay. Remember last week when I put the background on, here it is. I put this background on for the light area. I used the back of the fabric. Now, see what color it is? Well, look now and see. You see what happened? What I did is I took, oh no, okay, all done. I took my Dynaflow paint and I used some yellow, thinned it with water, took a wide paintbrush and brushed it on and then ironed it. And that gave me that wonderful bright yellow. So then what I'm going to, oh, thank you. So then what I'm going to try to do for the sun rays coming through is take a less diluted Dynaflow yellow and with a smaller paintbrush, just paint the stripes in. So cross your fingers for me. But I am really happy at the way it gave it because it was bluish before and now it's pretty green. Now, I'm not sure if my trees in the background stand up enough. But, all right, let's come back over here. So let me tell you what I've done. I did take some ink tints and darken this. Then I came back in where I had these two lights and I put some actual white in there. I wanted it to really catch your eye. I've come back out in this area and added some more greenery, trying to look like the woodland plants that are growing. I've just started to work on some branches that are going to come out. Okay. Now, I do have some fabric with leaves on it, but I would only use that up close. That, I'm just afraid that's not going to look right. And in fact, before I go, let me see if I can find the fabric that I ordered and show you what it looks like, because it's impossible to try to find leaves that are the right dimension to look right. But now that I'm starting to fill in, now the trees look like they're not floating as much. In fact, I need to find something over here. And I know it's going to be darker over here. Let me see. And I was really pleased with this fabric. It did a pretty good job of covering over in the sides. But let me, see, I've got some leaf fabrics, but it's really hard to use that. And let me see, here's pine tree fabric. And that's pretty good as long as you don't get an obvious tree stump in it, or tree trunk. And so, oh, and I did my background trees. Look at this green wood print. And so I used the back of this to show the trees that are sitting back in the forest in the sunlight. And I may have to darken them, or maybe I'll just outline them. But, okay, and then I've got another tree I'm going to put somewhere. I set this up so nice and neatly. Then I get busy working, and there it goes. So, all right. I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to try a couple little things. And I like layering when I'm doing something like a woodland, because I think I get a whole lot more depth when I do. Okay, and I'm going to come all the way over to this trunk. So now I've got an area with nice dark, broody looks. See, that looks pretty good. And any of the little branches that show just looks like it's from the shrubbery. So I'm going to put this, let me see. And remember, just keep edges zigzaggy, okay? I don't know if that's exactly a word, but it's a word I use. All right, I'm thinking I might put, I'm trying to decide where to put this, but try to make it look like the bushes that, you know, they're bushes, shrubs are not little balls. The branches come out, they have shape and texture. This is pretty good, but I need to take off some of the back of this. So I'm going to come down here and take it off like this. Okay, now let me see. Where do I want to put this? And try different, you know, different audition places to put it. I might put it right there. Now you see why I have to start and stop a lot and make changes, because I'm never quite sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to come back to here. Oh, no, I don't know. But I'm probably going to put something in front of that anyway, so I'm going to leave it there for right now. I'm going to get some of this. Now, when you get fabric like this, it's got a great big fern print on it. You have to use it in smaller pieces. You don't want people to go, oh, that's a fern. You just want to have an idea of something frothy, leafy going on. I heard someone one time say, when you're cutting, just pretend you've had too much coffee. And that's a pretty good way to look at it. All right, if I put this, tuck this in, I'm going to trim some of this back. Because see, now when I've trimmed it, it no longer is easy to identify it as ferns. All right, I'm going to put this here. And I want to teach y'all, and so I keep trying to tell myself, cut everything out, put it in place when y'all are here. But when I cut it, I just want to see if it's going to work and see what it's going to look like. And then I end up not waiting for y'all, and I'm sorry. Then I told myself, when I put the yellow wash on the background, I said I should just do half and show you the difference it makes. But the one thing I can show you, the difference, how it makes such a difference, is by doing this. And that's what I told myself. I'm so impatient. But here is what it looked like before. And now, here's what it looks like with that yellow wash. And you could use you could use ink tints, you can use whatever you want. But do you see the difference? This was good to give me light and texture. But then once I put the yellow wash on, that gave me the sunlight. And the one thing that I'm doing with this, and it's very important for me to do this, is I want to make it look as good as it can right here, doing this, so that if I want to then put, where is my tool? Here it is. So then if I want to put my tool on, I can still do it, but I've done the best job. See, I can still put the tool on, but I won't have to put as much on, And I've done the best I could without it to really see. Whoops, that had another little piece of gray I was trying to find. But anyway, okay. So it just, I like showing you what can we do right now. All right. So I've got these trees. I need to find something to go in front. This is that wonderful piece I found in my scrap bag, which I was tickled to find. And I think I'm going to do something to put in front of these trees to kind of make them feel seated. So I'm going to use a very light one, but something slightly darker than that, but the light area of it. And let me cut this out. All right, so I'm just going to pretend like, okay, in my mind, I'm thinking, what do plants look like that grow up, grasses and things that grow up in front of trees? And so something like that, but let me see. I think a touch smaller. Let me bring it down. And no straight lines. Do everything. All right, let me see. Okay, let me see. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to put this down. And I tried to keep a light area. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not monochromatic, but I still stay. And that's hard to do. It's hard to use your lightest colors. And it's hard to use the lightest colors and still come up with enough interest. I'm much better using the dark and the medium colors. Now, I just looked over here, and this is too uniform. And so I'm going to come in here and take these scraps. That's why I don't throw away my scraps. And I'm going to put this piece in here too to kind of vary. Maybe I'll put it down here. I think that is better. Then I think I'll add a little bit more of something. Oh, this will be good. So I'll add a piece of this to kind of break up. I don't want it to look like I took a coloring book, you know? So I'll have this kind of go up this way. This maybe come like this, because you just want it to look like a plant or shadow or something there. I'm going to have to trim this down because I don't want to pull up that again. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's better. I'm just trying to keep it from looking too matchy-matchy and too uniform, okay? I think that's better because it actually looks now like plants behind it. And, you know, I don't like the way this branch right here looks right now, so I'm just going to come in. Let me find something. Let me see. Okay. Let me see if I can somehow cover that up a little. And it's just from knowing how branches look. When we were little, we just did a nice little round ball on a tree. But that's not quite how branches look. And they come out in various lengths. Okay, so now I've got this. So I'm going to kind of take this and put it across here. And that kind of hides the part of that that no longer plays nice. And it gives me depth in the woods. So I'll probably have it coming down like that. And it's, you notice it's relatively dark. Oh, Barb is here. Hi, Barb. I guess. I don't see her name, but I see Linda welcoming her. Thank you, Linda, for being our moderator today. She's such a good Thursday night moderator. Love that. And sometimes she'll stand in on a Sunday, too. I appreciate that very much. All right. Now, one of the things I wanted to do while I'm on here with you is, ooh, this would be good for, these are evergreen boughs. Oh, there's Barbara Smith. There you are, hon. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece out of this, and it's going to be pretty dark. So I'm going to come along this dark vein here. Okay. I'm going to come right along here and cut this piece out. And I don't worry if I waste little things, because most things can be used, and I need to get just the right coloration. So see how this is supposed to be an evergreen branch that's coming out of the forest, okay? So I think this one, I'll put this way. I don't need that light there. But what I noticed when I was looking at my inspiration, it kind of had like a little bit of a bulbous end, and then the little parts of the branch came down like this. So it was kind of an awkward angle, but it really looked awesome. And so I'm going to show you, whoops, I'm not showing you even. I apologize. Let me try this. Let me put it, okay. So I noticed they had a little bit of a bulbous kind of end to them. And then the little sprays, because these are like feathers. They're branches that are like feathers. They're so pretty. And so the way the angle of the little branches was different than I thought, but quite pretty. And what I'll show you once I've cut this, that what I noticed is they were darkest at the bottom, and then as they got lighter, then I'm making them lighter. So here we go. Let me kind of just end this off, put a little glue here. All right, now I'm hoping that I will get the fabric in from Missouri Star. I went a lot of places looking for the right fabric. Okay. So now let me show you. So I've got three. I've got 1, 2, 3 branches coming from the woods. And I love how they kind of overhang. I'll probably put, this is very light, so I'll probably put a medium in here before. I was even thinking can I use some of this, which is supposed to be like a meadow grass look? Can I use some of this to make one? I don't know. It's going to be tricky. I have to find enough of a dark area. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking at. Now this week, I want to get all of my fabric placement done. And I still need to work on, as you can see, I'm trying to fill in, trying to fill in all the undergrowth. Now you remember, whoops, hold on. Okay, let me get this fabric out of the way. But boy, I mean, look at, that is one of my trays with tons of fabric that I've auditioned for this. All right, here is the drawing, and this is what you get in your free pattern. Remember I told you I felt it was important to also, for myself, it was important to make a tracing of my drawing. And I went ahead and I finished it. And now I've put different little hints in, like make this darker, this medium, this light. That's that path coming up. Whoops. Okay. So darker, medium, light. So I wrote that in. Then I wrote what kind of green, whether it's a medium or dark. I've written in that. Then all the different shrubs that I wanted to put in here. Especially, here's that tree you see that, whoops, let me come back into view. Here is that tree you see overhanging the pathway. And it's just you're just gonna see glimpses of it. Oh yes, I will definitely show you. Thank you for asking, good question. So it's important to know, the reason I wanted this is because the drawing that I did onto the background has now been covered up. So how do you remember what you wanted it to be? Now I can always look at this drawing and remember. But Miss Judy Lilly of Myrtle Beach taught me this when I took classes from her. Wonderful, wonderful, talented artist. And let me see. Let me come down here. So here is the drawing. You can see the trees that I put in here. They're almost in the right place. And this I can lay back over, see how I'm doing, make sure I've got everything where I wanted it to be. You can always pin it up here at the top, put pins horizontally up here. That way you can lift it off, see how you're doing, put it back down, see if you've forgotten something. So I highly recommend that. This is called Golden Threads paper, and it's a wonderful translucent paper. Comes on a spool, about $11, will last you probably the rest of your life, and it really helps to make sure that you've got the layers in there, because I think the layers really, see, this is still not finished, because look at this side here. See the difference with all this layering? It actually starts to look like it almost starts to look like real nature and how layered and verdant the forest can be. So I've got some more things to work on here. Then I will put on the tulle. Then I'll come in and do the branches that are going to be overhanging, that are going to be much darker than the background. That will really, see how it shows you the foreground and see the light background? Well, I'm going to have even more of that so that this sunlit part opening in the forest will really, you'll be peeking at it through the trees and the leaves. So it's coming along pretty good. I'll try to have everything that the last bit of color blocking. We'll put the tool on. Then we'll start to overlay over the things that we want to lay over the tool, like the branches in the foreground. Then we start thread painting. So we will be doing, oh, thank you. We will be doing the thread painting together because I don't want to just leave you with that. I want to show you that. And I want you to feel like you can, actually, I think those trees back in the sunlight, they are showing up. So especially if I start to do some thread painting and outline stitch them, remember I told you that just coming in here, if nothing else, where are my 2 pins? I got 2 brand new Sharpie fine lines, okay? 2 brand new, and they are very fine. And I'm going to, well, let me just show you a little bit. When I come in here and just do a little bit of outlining, all of a sudden they show up. So that's a part of this too. So we've got more to do. We've got, don't forget, we've got our tool, and I'm probably going to use a gray. I don't know. I'm worried the white's going to be too bright. So I might use, yeah, I think I like the gray better. So I'll probably use that light gray. But check yours and see what looks good. Then don't forget, we've got our ink tints. And I wanted to tell Miss Polly that I used some of the ink tints block white so I could get, because I took and put yellow over this and then took and put a little wash of white over it too to really continue to give it that look. So while you're looking at this, let me bring up my inspiration photo. I'm just going to, I used 2 for it, but I think I'm just going to bring up 1. Let me see. All right. Because the reason I'm, okay. All right, now let me see if I can do this. What I'd like to do, I might be stretching it a bit too far, but I'd like for you to be able to see both at once. So let me see. Whoops. Here is the inspiration photo. There's the inspiration. And now here is the quilt. Okay. Whoops. Go back just a touch. All right, let me see. I don't quite have this in right. But here is the quilt. And here is the inspiration. And if you can see, I'm hoping it's not too bright, but you can see the little trees. Let me see. I'm hoping to block out some of the light so you can see the background. And when I send you the free pattern, I will send you both inspiration photos that I used to do this quilt. All right, so we're almost done for tonight, but I want to show your photos. I've got some cool photos to show you. Let me come back to y'all because when I go to show you another photo, I can't see you. So hold on just 1 second. Let me bring this down. Bring this down. All right. You just got some blocks today, ink tints blocks, because there are 2 different kinds of ink tints. And the reason I use ink tints is because they're permanent on fabric. And so here are the ink tints blocks like Jody got today. And then there are the ink tints pencils. And the difference is the pencils are wonderful if you want to do more precise, finicky work. Here are the pencils, and they act like a color pencil, but when you put medium or water to them, they bloom in dye color. But these are good if you wanted to do larger areas. And then I wanted to do the yellow for that large area, So I used the Dynaflow. I took the yellow one out and I thinned it with water. So there we are. Okay. And now let's go see what you are doing. All right, because this is always my favorite part is show and tell. I have to bring this down. All right. Let me see. Okay. Let's see what you're working on. And like I said, Miss Linda, if you sent me a photo, I'm sorry I missed it. I want to show one more time Miss Alexis's wonderful hand embroidery, because you know what? It doesn't matter what you do. Whether you crochet, whether you do hand embroidery, whether you paint, whether you bead, make jewelry, it's the creativity that is so good for the soul. So we love Hoist. Excellent job. I love how she does that, and she enjoys that. Okay, let me see. This I hadn't shown before, poor Miss Betty, and I kept forgetting to put it in. Look at this. Is this the coolest thing? I love, love, love it. Way to go, Miss Betty. And then look at this sea view. And I love how she used wispy threads, how she used, let me see if I can bring it. Look how she used floss to look like fencing. She actually put real shells on here, did stitches to look like little bits of grass. Isn't that wonderful? That's what I want you. Oh, she even put a special trim in here to look like a little bit of froth. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? That's the way to do it. You're creating your scene. So way to go, Miss Betty. I'm sorry it took me so long to show because I love your work. Okay, and I just wanted to show you, even though this is a traditional quilt, I love that she used butterfly buttons to dress that up. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let me see what other, I don't think no. Oh, and you know what? I forgot. I meant to bring down my Polly. I'm babysitting my granddog Polly. All right, and just real quick, just to show you in case you couldn't see it good enough, this is the main scene I'm working with tonight, because this area right here was what I was working on, trying to get enough of the dark up here and then working from dark to medium to very light. Okay, let me see if I can show you again those trees. See how light they are? And that just really drives home the opening in the forest. All right, now let's see what else. Where are we? Let me see. Jeannie, no, those are traditional. Let me look. Are you ready? You know that our Jody is amazing. She has done beautiful silhouette quilts. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, let me show you her latest, and it is my second favorite. My heart belongs to Frankie, but look at this. Isn't that amazing? And she cuts out so many tiny pieces of fabric, and she builds that so beautifully. Susan's working on a tutorial where she's going to try to teach us the techniques of this, because that is just amazing, and I love it. So that's the creature from the Dark Lagoon. I love that. So Miss Jody is something else. Linda, I just wanted to show you one more time. I love her little works. Every time I pick up a Quilting Arts magazine, they're working on something like this, and I just adore them. And we can't do but so many huge quilts. And these pieces of art, especially when you can put little found items, things from the past, snippets of lace, snippets from beautiful parts of linens, that way they don't have to sit in a box. Now they can become living art, and you can give them as gifts or just keep them around to make you happy. So thank you, Miss Linda, for being our inspiration for doing our own embellishing. Now, I showed you Sunday Miss Lisa's work, and I love it. She has got an art quilter's eye. I just love it. Well, look at her newest thing she sent. Isn't that wonderful? I I worry that sometimes I don't have that kind of creativity where I can just take this out of my brain. I'm a very good mimic, but this is art when you can dream it up all yourself. So beautiful, beautiful, Miss Lisa. Okay, let's see who else has some art. We've got Marcia and her handmade fabric beads. Love, love, love them, Miss Marcia. Then let's see what else. Melanie, yes, I love her beautiful, beautiful landscape. Layers and layers of landscape. Terrific. Okay, let's see what else. Nadine has been doing some amazing, amazing work lately. Here is a Sato method of embroidery and quilting, which I love. The layering, the hand stitches, putting it all together in a primitive style. It is beautiful. All right. Then here's another piece of her work that, it's painting, it is stamping, it is a collage. It's all of those things. Absolutely beautiful. And all of this feeds your soul and also improves your creativity and your inspiration. So, and then can't wait to see what Miss Patricia from Nova Scotia does with some of these gorgeous fabrics. Oh, I love these. Love them, love them, love them. Those are my colors, those wonderful jewel tones. And I'm really proud of her because she's got lights, mediums, and darks all in the same order. Good job, Miss Patricia. I tend to sometimes forget the lights, I'm so anxious to get the deep, rich colors. Polly's beautiful machine. I hope I get to meet it one day. Maybe she'll even let me pet it just a little. Isn't that a beauty? That's a wonderful Juki machine. Wonderful. And Jukis do have a place in my heart. And look at her tartan plaid quilt. Is that gorgeous? I love that. I might get Miss Polly to teach us that one day. I think she'd be good at that. Okay, let me see. Here's Sherry Dietz. Look at this tote she made. I love it, and I love that cork fabric. That is beautiful. And here is an Arkansas crossroad quilt she's working on. Beautiful. And there she is, our Sherry, one of our newest members. I'm real tickled she's here with us. Y'all mean so much to me. All right, now let's see. So that was Miss Sherry and, Teresa Louise. Look at this gal going to town with this quilt. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Look at how good the eye looks, the nose. Look at the teeth, the tongue. Isn't that amazing? I love it. Look at all those little pieces she's cut out. Y'all are so good and so patient. And here is the puppy, the photo that she's using as her inspiration. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I think that's it. If I missed anything, I apologize. Write and let me know, and I'll make sure that I do it next time. Just like with Miss Betty Middleton. I am so sorry it took her so long to see her work on the show because it is exquisite. All right, let me close this down and come back to you. Any questions before I go? Isn't it wonderful? We love seeing your inspiration. In fact, I've been chatting with Miss B from England, and I hope she's got some more inspiration because her work is gorgeous. So, Linda Ramos, it was so good to see you. And now I've seen you the second time. So, if you feel like you would like to join our chat group, please consider, if you want to, send me an email to this email address, and I will send you an invitation. So if you're thinking you want to join us, we do sew-ins on the second and third Saturday of every month. We share free patterns and photos and ask questions, get help. There you go. So it's so good to see all of you. Thank you so much. And I tell you, even when I get too busy, this Thursday art quilt, I'm going to hang on to as long as I can because this really feeds my soul. And I hope it does yours too. All right. Isn't that dog one wonderful? You're all so talented. And always feel free to speak up and teach me something as well, because I learn as much from you as I hopefully teach you. All right, everybody. Have a good Friday tomorrow, and I will see most of you on Sunday on our next live stream where we'll be talking about, hopefully I'll have more made. We'll be talking about our crumb block quilt, and I have a free pattern for that too. Send me an email at my email address. I'll send you the free pattern for the Woodland, Misty Woodland, or for the crumb block quilt. So we love sharing here. All right. There's Betty. You saw your work. I'm so sorry it took me so long to get your pictures to show you. And I wanted to thank Nevin, I believe was his name, or her name, from Istanbul. Oh, that's so exotic. I love that. All right. Take really good care and come back and see us next Thursday night when we're going to start to wrap up our Misty Woodland quilt. Okay? Send me pictures of what you're working on. I'll be glad to share them with all of us. Take good care. Do something good just for you. Okay? Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye, Miss Lisa, Laura. So good to see you. Thank you, Miss Linda, for taking care of us tonight. Bye-bye, everyone.